Just imagine this. A father stuck in a time loop, reliving the same day over and over, all to save his daughter from dying. The story kicks off on a plane, where a famous doctor named Kim is returning to Korea. An air hostess recognizes him and asks for his autograph. Even his assistant, Youngs, takes a photo with him. Meanwhile, Kim notices that his daughter, Eun-jung, hasn't replied to any of his messages. At that very moment, Eun-jung is with her friends. She never knew his father is so famous. She's never really had a close relationship with him. He hardly visits, and her friends often tease her about it, which deeply upsets her. Back at the airport, Kim refuses to use the VIP gate, which annoys Youngs. On their way out, they come across a woman whose child is choking on candy. Kim immediately jumps in to help and saves the child without waiting for recognition or praise. He then tries calling his daughter again, but there's still no response. As he exits the terminal, he finds out that Youngs has arranged a surprise press conference without his knowledge. Kim takes the mic and talks about his work with the UN, and this news quickly reaches the TV. Eun-jung and her friends watch it, and for once, they believe her. Her dad is actually famous. Kim shares that it was Eun-jung's illness 3 years ago that inspired him to help people. She feels proud for a moment, but then Youngs ruins it by saying she's become too stubborn lately. That embarrassing comment hurts her again. Later, Kim promises Eun-jung that he'll be home for her birthday and tries to convince her with the promise of gifts. Then he rushes off in his car to meet her. However, he gets delayed at a toll booth when the attendant drops the change. Just before reaching her, he witnesses a major car accident. He pulls out the injured taxi driver, but finds the woman in the back seat already dead. As emergency services arrive, Kim calls his daughter to tell her he'll be late. But then, a man replied and delivers shocking news. His daughter has just been in a serious accident. Then Kim realizes something terrifying. The taxi involved in the accident had crashed into his daughter. Before he can even react, he suddenly blinks and he's back on the plane. The same air hostess is once again asking for his autograph. Everything is repeating. One by one, the same events unfold exactly like before. Kim already knows what's going to happen. The child choking on candy, the press waiting outside, everything. This time, overwhelmed with panic, he rushes away in the middle of the interview and calls his daughter, warning her not to go outside. He tells her he'll pick her up himself, but she doesn't listen. While driving to reach her, Kim tries calling again, but Eun-jung won't answer. This time, he skips everything. No delays, no farewells. But by the time he reaches the scene, it's too late. His daughter is already dead. Heartbroken, Kim collapses. And in that moment, the day resets once again. Now desperate, Kim bolts into action. He snatches the candy from the child before it can choke him, skips the press, and races through the VIP gate to reach his car. He calls Eun-jung and tells her they can't meet today, but she's angry and hurt. She tells him she hates him and swears she'll wait for him anyway, no matter what you come or not. Kim speeds off recklessly, skipping the toll entirely. But this time, he takes a wrong turn and ends up delayed again. By the time he reaches the scene, the crash has already happened. Once more, the day resets. Kim drives like a man possessed, but this time he crashes his car and is forced to continue on foot. Again, he arrives too late. Realizing he can't convince his daughter directly, he instead takes the taxi driver's number. When the day resets again, he calls the driver in advance and warns him about the accident, but the driver doesn't believe him. Still, Kim refuses to give up. He takes a dangerous shortcut and finally arrives at the intersection just minutes before the accident. But right before his eyes, his daughter is hit by a car. Kim drops to his knees in agony. Just then, a man arrives and starts yelling. It's Minchul, one of the medics who came to assist. The woman who died in the taxi? She was Minchul's wife. Just like Kim, Minchul is also trapped in the time loop. He tried calling his wife to warn her, but she never picked up. He searched for her through friends, but no one knew where she was. And in the middle of it all, he had been looking for Kim too. After yet another reset, Kim and Minchul finally meet and begin to talk. Two broken men trapped in time, trying desperately to save the ones they love. Kim and Minchul finally met and realized the hard truth. It was nearly impossible to stop the accident itself. So they shifted their plan. They would stop Eun-jung from ever reaching the location. When the day reset, Kim appeared at the press conference and publicly told Eun-jung that he was changing the meeting place. But watching this on TV only made Eun-jung angrier. She felt embarrassed and ignored his request once again. Desperate, Kim tried to contact Miko, the woman in the taxi, to warn her about the accident. Because she was not answering Minchul's calls, because she had been fighting with Minchul and wanted nothing to do with him. By the time Kim reached out, Miko had already gotten into the taxi, and the accident happened all over again. The next time the loop began, Kim and Minchul decided to change their approach completely. Instead of issuing warnings too early, Kim waited. Then, gently and lovingly, he explained to Eun-jung that it would be better if they met somewhere else. This time, Eun-jung finally agreed. Meanwhile, Minchul realized he might not be able to convince his wife directly either. So taking matters into his own hands, he attacked himself with a brick, injuring himself, and then gave the taxi number to the police in hopes they'd intercept the car. During this moment, a memory struck him. His last fight with Miko was about having a child. Miko wanted one, but Minchul wasn't ready. After the argument, she had completely cut off contact. Soon after, both Kim and the police arrived at the usual accident spot. But this time, nothing had happened. It looked like finally, they had succeeded in preventing the tragedy. After that, Kim rushed to the park to meet his daughter. At the same time, the police located the taxi, but the driver suddenly sped off. As soon as Minchul heard the news, he panicked and ran toward the park. Kim, already at the park, began searching for Eun-jung. That's when he received a call. From an unknown number. It was the taxi driver. In a chilling voice, he said he had heard the press conference and now planned to kill Eun-jung in the park instead of on the road. He claimed she should have died 3 years ago. Enraged and terrified, Kim ran through the park, frantically searching for his daughter. Just as the taxi sped toward her, Kim dove in front of Eun-jung to protect her. And the day reset again. This time, Minchul called Kim with a horrifying revelation. The taxi driver was trapped in the same time loop. He was deliberately killing Eun-jung and Miko every day, and resetting time just like them. That's why they couldn't stop him. He always knew what they were going to do. Then Kim remembered something important. 3 years ago, Eun-jung had a severe heart condition and desperately needed a transplant. They thought they had secured a donor, but at the last moment, the child's parents refused to donate the heart. At the same time, Minchul, who had been driving the ambulance back then, narrowly avoided a crash, but the car involved veered off the road and flipped. Minchul had taken the injured victims from the crash to the same hospital where Eun-jung had once waited desperately for a heart transplant. Now he discovers a shocking truth. The man in the car was named Kang-sik. Every day, Kang-sik wakes up, checks the news about Kim, and then sets out to take his revenge. Kim finally reaches Kang-sik's house, but it's completely empty. All he finds is a stack of 3-year-old hospital bills, and a photo of a little boy named Haru, Kang-sik's son. That's when the truth hits him. Kim tells Minchul that the night of the original accident, Minchul had delayed getting the victims to the hospital, Haru was already brain dead, and Kang-sik, seriously injured, never got the chance to give consent for organ donation. To save his daughter, Kim had forged Kang-sik's signature and used Haru's heart to save Eun-jung. Now, Kim just wants to find Kang-sik and apologize, hoping that maybe he can stop this cycle of revenge. But Minchul doesn't agree. He believes Kang-sik deserves punishment. Since then, their paths split. Minchul stays back to search the house and finds a heartbreaking note in a diary. Miko was actually pregnant, which explained why she'd been talking about having a child. At that very moment, she had gone to the doctor for a checkup. In a later loop, after the crash, Kim brings Kang-sik back to the hospital and keeps him alive using injections. He tells him the truth. He would have done the same thing if he were in Kim's place. But Kang-sik isn't moved. He says if Kim were in his shoes, he would have also chosen revenge. He refuses to stop until Eun-jung is dead, as justice for his own son. As Kang-sik's breathing slows, the day starts to reset again. That's when Kim and Minchul realize something chilling. Time resets every time Kang-sik dies. In the next loop, Minchul decides to take matters into his own hands. He plans to kill Kang-sik first. Kim finds out and races to warn him, but it's too late. Minchul attacks Kang-sik in the taxi. He even tells him that his wife was pregnant, but Kang-sik doesn't flinch. he coldly replies that Minchul ran away the night of the crash and only came back later. If he hadn't fled, maybe Haru would still be alive. In a fit of rage, Kang-sik pushes Minchul out of the taxi and speeds off toward Eun-jung, determined to kill her. But Kim arrives just in time, ramming his car in front of the taxi and saving his daughter. Kim then pulls Kang-sik out of the car. Kang-sik, confused, asks, "Why are you saving me?" Kim replies with a deeper truth. "Because every time you die, the day resets. This time loop, it's not just yours, it's Haru's. He's still alive, living on in Eun-jung's heart." Haru wasn't just living in Eun-jung's heart. He was trying to save his father, Kang-sik, from dying. And if Eun-jung were to die, Haru would be lost forever too. But just then, Minchul, filled with rage, drove his car recklessly and crashed into the taxi. Blinded by anger, he grabbed a knife and charged toward Kang-sik, ready to end it all. Kim tried to stop him, but in the struggle, the knife accidentally stabbed Kim instead. Bleeding, Kim looked at Minchul and begged him to stop. He explained that keeping Kang-sik alive was the only way to keep Eun-jung, Mi-kyung, and her unborn child alive too. At that very moment, Kang-sik's eyes met Eun-jung's, and suddenly a memory returned. 3 years ago, a young Eun-jung had come to him and said something that stuck with him. "Haru is alive in me now, and you have to live for him too." Kang-sik looked at Eun-jung again, and in that moment, he saw Haru in her. Overwhelmed with emotion, he hugged her. But then, the car caught fire. Without hesitation, Kang-sik used his own body as a shield to protect Eun-jung. And with his death, the day reset one final time. This was their last chance, and now all three of them, Kim, Minchul, and Kang-sik, understood the difference between revenge and redemption. Minchul went to the doctor's office and found Mi-kyung waiting. With tears in his eyes, he apologized sincerely and promised to adopt the child. He said he already had a name in mind, Haru. Meanwhile, Kang-sik met Eun-jung and showed her a photo of his son. She smiled and asked, "What did Haru like the most?" Kang-sik answered, "Chocolate." Eun-jung laughed and said she used to hate chocolate, but ever since the surgery, she'd been craving it all the time. At the airport press conference, Kim stood before the world and confessed the crime he committed 3 years ago, the forged signature that saved his daughter but broke another family. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves emotional thrillers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.